is in the books. It's kind of weird. I'm filming this Tuesday night, my time, Monday night back in the U.S. And I was like, all day today, I was like, man, okay, there's going to be a game today, you know, our Monday game. I was looking at the schedule and I'm like, where's the game today? Why is there no? I guess because it's New Year's Day, they just didn't have a game scheduled. It feels weird to me because there's a lot of people that have to day off work, so it feels like the perfect time to put an NFL game on the air, but what do I know? You know, I don't know. Apparently not. Bye weeks this time of year. I watched a few games this week. Two of the games I watched I expected to be good games, but the two games I expected to be good just didn't really turn out that good. One of them especially, but let's get into it now. First up, Jets versus Browns. I predicted the Browns to win this game just because I'm all aboard the Joe Flacco hype train at the moment. Joe Flacco put in a great performance. Hold on, I think was there something, I thought I saw some stat about Flacco after this game. Hold on. Sorry, I just need to. Never mind, I can't find. I think it's a thing about Joe Flacco throwing a 300-yard game, like coming off the bench sooner than some active rookie or young QB or something. I'm not 100% sure. Hold on, I'm gonna quickly adjust my camera here. Okay, I think that's a little bit better. Anyways, I can't find that stat now, but the Browns did end up winning this game like I expected them to, 37-20 in their favor. They were playing the Trevor Siemian-led New York Jets. Siemian had 32 completions on 45 attempts, 261 yards, a touchdown, a pick. Joe Flacco went 19 for 29, 309 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. Are the Browns confirmed for the playoffs? Like if they clinched it? Because right now they are 1, 2, 3, 5. Okay. I'm really bad with like how these things work. But looks like right now the Browns would play the Jaguars if the playoffs started today. But I don't think, the Browns have, they've clinched at least a wild card. Okay, so the Browns will at least play in the playoffs. Joe Flacco will be playing some playoff football. Like I said, I think I said last week in my predictions, I think this Browns team can make some noise in the playoffs. I'm not sure how far they go. Right now, they're expected to play the Jaguars round 1. Honestly, I'd probably take them over the Jaguars at this point, but anyway, let's get now to the Lions versus the Cowboys. This is a game I did watch. Quickly, I did predict the Lions to win this one, but the Cowboys win this one, although there was a lot of controversy around the game that we'll talk about here in a second, but okay. I wrote a lot of notes on this game. I think this week, a big staple of this week is some coaching issues. To say the least. And there's some coaching issues in this game we'll talk about here. But Lions start the ball. They convert a 3rd and 10. The run game not looking good for Detroit. Hard to get any yardage on the ground. The Lions opening drive stalls out, and it's no 41-yard field goal to get the first points. In contrast, the Cowboys offense looks really good on their first drive. Dak was slinging the ball. Then Dak throws an interception right after a miss to the end zone. Brutal ending to a great Dallas drive. Dallas defense makes a huge response, forces the Lions out of field goal range with a sack. They're forced to punt. Dak gets pressured in the end zone, almost gets tackled for safety, but he escapes the sack and finds Lamb. Lamb is wide open. He gets a 92-yard touchdown reception. 92 yards. Cowboys get the first touchdown of the game. Lions are unable to respond after that. It says they look like they might be in trouble early. 3rd and long, Dallas does not convert it. Detroit gets the ball right back. I said so far this game is not living up to the hype. A touchback in the Dallas end zone gives Detroit the ball back, and I thought that was a brutal call. I mean, correct call, obviously, but brutal, because that would have been some more points there for Dallas, which would have made the ending of this game less controversial. Detroit immediately goes 3 and out after that, and I just said, what is wrong with this offense tonight? Jared Goff, he looked terrible passing the ball. His decision making, his reads didn't seem great. The ball was just, it wasn't getting to the target well. It was, he kept overthrowing or underthrowing guys. But then there is a fake punt on 4th down that Detroit converts as a really nice trick play. 4th and goal for Detroit. Their offense stays out in the field. Goff gets pressured. He's almost sacked. Throws to the end zone, but it's incomplete. I said they probably should have just taken the points there. They're only down 4. So you take the field goal and they're only down 1. Prescott gets sacked on 2nd down, forces another 3rd and long. Dallas can't convert it. They force to punt back to Detroit. A huge play by Lawrence blows up the Detroit run on 3rd and 1, keeps the Lions out of field goal range. And the first half ends 7-3 in favor of Dallas. I said so far this game is not the shootout that I was expecting it to be. Dallas starts the ball 2nd half. They end up in another 3rd and long situation that forces them to punt. I said 3rd and long has been a problem for them all game long. All game they were wasting their first 2 possessions of the drive. They kept ending up in like 3rd and 7 and 3rd and 10 situations this whole game, even though they won. But then Dallas forces another 4th down off of a Detroit run. Detroit converts it. Montgomery powers ahead. Detroit finally gets their first touchdown of the game and a 3-point lead. Would have been a 6-point lead if they'd gotten that field goal earlier. Pollard breaks off a massive run, puts Dallas on the 50-yard line. Dak goes deep to the end zone, but there's nobody even close to where the ball ends up. 3rd and 11, Dak gets hit, but the ball gets out to Lamb to convert it. Another 4th down for Dallas. Ends in a 51-yard field goal attempt, and it's good. Ties the game just before the start of the 4th quarter. There's a huge reception by Detroit that puts them right at the doorstep. Dallas has a couple of big stops, forces a 4th and 3. Then Detroit takes a delay of game. They kick a field goal. They go up 3. Dallas ends in another 3rd and long situation, but they convert it. Dak to Cooks. Dallas gets their 2nd touchdown of the game. Detroit is unable to get anything going after that. Dallas gets the ball back, but then Dak gets sacked on 3rd and 5. Huge stand from the Detroit defense to keep them in the game. But then on the 2nd play of the next drive, Jared Goff gets intercepted by Wilson. 2 minutes left in the game. Just terrible, terrible moment to throw a pick there. It was a pivotal moment for Detroit. Dallas keeps the defense out on 4th down, tries to get Detroit to jump offside, brings on the field goal unit. Field goal is has 1 minute 45 seconds to get a touchdown to win the game, or to tie the game, or win. Detroit starts marching down. They get to the Cowboys 26-yard line with basically zero pressure. Amon-Ra St. Brown gets into the end zone. Detroit touchdown ties the game. Now this is where the controversial bit happens. I'm just going to read out the notes as I typed them up at the time, and then we'll get into talk about it. Campbell decides to go for 2 and the win instead of kicking the extra point for the tie. End zone caught, 2 point is good. Lions win. But then the 2-point conversion gets taken off the board because of an ineligible receiver. Detroit has to try again. So they get another attempt at the 2-point conversion. But at this point, Parsons intercepts it. But there's a flag against the defense. So Detroit gets a third attempt at the 2-point conversion. And I literally typed out right here, it feels like you should just kick the field goal at this point. You've already had 2 tries and it hasn't worked. And they go for it a third time and it is no good. So they're down 1. And I said it is an extremely arrogant decision by Dan Campbell to try the 2-point conversion 3 times in a row. You have already shown them 2 of your plays. You've shown them 2 plays. Their defense knows what those plays are. You just swallow your pride, send the game to overtime, and win it there. I don't know what he was thinking. I truly don't know what he was thinking in this game, because I get it. There's been videos where it shows that the receiver did report as eligible, and some people are saying that the referee said the wrong number. I think the receiver is number 67, and the referee said number 70 is reporting as eligible. It's the referee just heard the wrong number or said the wrong number. Somebody, I saw somebody lined up the video. I don't know their names, but the referee is looking at number 70. And as he's looking at number 70, I think it's number 67, don't quote me on that, is coming up. The referee turns his back. Number 67 says, "Hey, I'm eligible." But the referee, since he was just looking at number 70, thinks 70 is the one saying that to him. I don't know. I don't care. From a coaching standpoint, to go for a 2-point conversion 3 times in a row, Dan Campbell at that point was so angry about the situation, he was never going to kick the field goal. He was letting his pride and his ego call the shots, and he lost because of it. The minute that interception got taken off the board, he was given a gift. He's like, okay, this is some sort of sign from the universe. Send this game to overtime. His defense had been good all game long. The Detroit defense was balling out this game, and he did not trust them to get a stop in overtime. And, yeah, that's pretty much the story of that game. Say whatever you want about the final, the referees there at the end, but, they made a mistake, sure, but so did the coach. And I know the Lions clinched the NFC North, but did they clinch the NFC? No, the Niners clinched the NFC. Because I think if they would have won this game, they could have clinched the NFC. They could, right? They could have gotten the bye week, I think. But because they lost this, San Francisco gets the bye week. So, not great from the Lions there. Anyway, Goff goes 19 for 34, 271 yards, a touchdown, and 2 interceptions. Dak Prescott 26 for 38, 345 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Now another this game was going to have like game of the month, game of the year potential. I expected this game to be a shootout, and it kind of started as one. But this is another game with very questionable coaching decisions, and I think some questions need to be asked of Mike McDaniel after this game. Dolphins, Ravens. I predicted the Ravens to win this game, and they do. They completely embarrassed the Dolphins in this game. Completely embarrassed them. And I took notes. Let's talk about it. In my notes right here, I was so naive. The first line of my notes is Game of the Year potential. Game of the Year potential. Miami starts the ball. First play is a great reception. I said right here, this could be a shootout. Dolphins offense is just moving it without any pushback. Do it to Wilson, end zone, touchdown, the opening drive. I said this Miami offense is here to play. Here to play. Ravens convert a massive 3rd and 16 on a play by Hill. And then Flowers puts them on the doorstep. Jackson to Hill, and the Ravens respond with a touchdown of their own. Tyreek wide open the end zone, but he can't control the ball. Miami is settled for the field goal. Then you have a 2nd and 16. There's a huge sack on Lamar, sets up 3rd and 25. Ravens cannot convert. Odell Beckham Jr. has a huge catch while falling out of bounds, but Baltimore on the 10-yard line. And then they get it into the end zone again. Ravens take the lead. Decent drive for Miami, but again it ends in a field goal. Ravens maintain a 1-point lead. And then Lamar finds a wide open Zay Flowers streaking down the field, and he's in for the touchdown. A 75-yard reception. Amazing pass, and it's a total backbreaker for Miami at that point. And then just before halftime, Tua Tagovailoa gets intercepted. It was like a minute 50 something left on the clock, and it was a really bad pass. I don't know what he was trying to do with that pass. Lamar can't convert a 3rd down, and then sets up a 4th and 7. The Ravens offense stays on the field, and they go for it. They ends in a touchdown. Terrible sequence of events for Miami. Ravens almost return the second half kickoff for a touchdown. Hill goes down to the 15-yard line, and in the first pass of their drive is a touchdown wide open in the end zone, like nobody's even near the dude. Miami defense was very questionable this entire game. And I said that Miami needs to respond right now on this drive or the game is over. But instead of that, Tua gets sacked, gives the Ravens the ball back. But then Edwards fumbles the ball. Miami recovers it, so they have a little bit of breathing room, a little bit of life here. But the first pass of the next drive, Tua Tagovailoa throws his 2nd interception of the game. The Ravens don't make them pay on that interception. They give the ball back. And Tua ends up getting a touchdown pass on the 3rd and goal. They go for 2, doesn't convert it. But then Baltimore immediately gets those points back. Lamar to Rickard. At that point, right, this game has to be over. I was getting ready to turn it off. And then Tua got hurt. He was running, he slid, he got hit as he was going down. He ends up going to the medical tent. I haven't seen what his status is for next week. I imagine it's not too bad, maybe questionable, but if I was Miami, I would just probably sit him anyway. I'll look at their playoff picture in a sec. In the meantime, Baltimore tacks on yet another touchdown. Melvin Gordon this time makes it a total bloodbath. Mike White ends up coming in at QB for the Dolphins, and then he fumbles a handoff. Baltimore recovers that, immediately gets another touchdown. And then the nail in the coffin, just the salt in the wound, is Chubb goes down hurt. He was like, I've never heard a dude screaming like that. Like, he was screaming in pain. It was a non-contact. I think they've confirmed it's an ACL. I think at the time I thought ACL, MCL. And at this time of the year, this is the worst case for Miami. Absolute worst case. And when I was talking about the coaching decisions. Why are your starters in this game when you are down like 20 plus points at the end of the fourth? There was less than 2 minutes left in this game when Chubb got injured. He is done. He's not playing again this season. He's not playing in the playoffs. He's probably not playing next season because he was in at the end of a blowout. Let's say Chubb gets a touchdown. Let's say he runs in and gets a touchdown. You're still gonna lose. There's no time left in this game, and now you're not going anywhere in the playoffs. Tua's hurt. Even if Tua comes back, he's like fine whenever he comes back to play in the playoffs. How can you guarantee that he can play at 100%? You can't. You got blown out in this game, 56-19 in this game, and you lost your one of your best offensive weapons in the process. Baltimore was a 3.5-point favorite in this game, and they won by almost 40 points. Baltimore beat the over-under by themselves. That is how non-competitive this game is, and Mike McDaniel was leaving his starters in at the end of the game. It's stupid. It's stupid. Where are the Dolphins? The Dolphins, they've clinched the playoffs. Yeah, they clinched the playoffs last week, that's right. So why was he even in at the end of this game? It's so stupid. So yeah, okay, good job, you've clinched the playoffs. You're not gonna beat anybody. You're not gonna beat any. It makes me so angry. I'm genuinely angry about this coaching decision. I really am. I'm not playing it up or whatever. It makes me angry. He left his starters in. I just don't get it. I don't get it, man. And it's gonna bite them in the playoffs. I like the Dolphins, and what a disaster this time of week. What a disaster. Tua goes 22 for 38, 237 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. Lamar Jackson 18 for 21, 321 yards, 5 touchdowns, no pick. QB rating of 158.3. Lamar Jackson locked up that MVP this game. It's his. Especially because Christian McCaffrey, he went down hurt this week and he's not playing next week. CMC's done. He was number 2. He's not playing, so Lamar just won MVP. He won it last week, but he's not losing it now. Titans versus Texans. I think I took the Titans here. I wasn't really confident in that decision, and I shouldn't have been. They got blown out 26-3 in favor of the Houston Texans. Ryan Tannehill goes 16 for 20, 168 yards. 0 touchdowns, 0 picks. CJ Stroud 24 for 32, 213 yards, a touchdown. No picks. I think the the Texans are still technically in the hunt. Yeah, they're 8th right now. They need the Colts to lose, and they need the Bills to lose, and the Jaguars to lose. I think the Texans. Because the Texans, yeah, the Jaguars are 9-7. The Texans are 9-7. The Colts are 9-7. So the Texans need the Colts and the Jaguars to lose this week, and they get in. That's a crazy spot for them to be in. Patriots, Bills. I predicted the Bills to win this game, and they did, but not very convincingly. I mean, they won this game by 6 points, 27-21 in their favor. And Bailey Zappi threw 3 touchdowns this game, 3 interceptions this game, including a pick 6. And the Bills won by 6. The Bills were 15.5-point favorites this game, and they barely eked this one out. The was very loud. I hope that didn't come through. The game started with a Jalen Reagor kick return touchdown, which is always exciting. But yeah, like I said, 27-21. Maybe a little bit concerning if you're a Bills fan going into the playoffs right now that you barely beat this Patriots team where Bailey Zappi gave you a touchdown. But we'll see what happens. Who are they currently predicted to play? The Bills are 10-6. They have a 94% chance of getting in. Who would they be playing? The Bills would be playing the Chiefs. You know, with how the Chiefs are playing right now, I actually don't hate their odds in that game. I'm going to be honest with you. Bailey Zappi, 16 for 26, 209 yards, 0 touchdowns, 3 picks. Like I said, one of those was a pick 6. Josh Allen, 15 for 30, 169 yards, 0 passing touchdowns, but he did have 2 rushing touchdowns, 1 interception. Bailey Zappi also had a rushing touchdown for 17 yards. Rams, Giants, I predicted the Rams here, and they did win. 26-25 is your final score there. Matthew Stafford goes 24 for 34, 317 yards, a touchdown, 2 picks. Tyrod Taylor, 27 for 41, 319 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Niners, Commanders. This is the game where Christian McCaffrey goes down with a calf injury. He's not going to play next week, they said. I did predict the Niners to win this one, though. Pretty obvious against that Commanders team. They do get it done. They win by 17, 27-10 is your final score. And they have clinched the NFC. I think they clinched it because the Eagles also lost this week. So the Niners have won the NFC. They get a bye week, or the first round they get a bye rather. Brock Purdy goes 22 for 28, 230 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Sam Howell 17 for 28, 169 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 picks. Cardinals, Eagles. I did not watch this game. I wish I had. This Eagles team is done. Actually, no, I get it right here. I thought the Eagles would win this one. They lost by 4. Philadelphia was a 12.5 point favorite going into this game. They lost by 4 to the 3-12 Arizona Cardinals. Not only did they lose by 4 to the 3-12 Arizona Cardinals, the 3-12 Arizona Cardinals did not punt a single time this game. The 3-12 Arizona Cardinals destroyed the Philadelphia Eagles, who for much of this season were Super Bowl favorites. Going into this season were Super Bowl favorites. I'm not convinced they can win a round in these playoffs. This Eagles offense is terrible. And these last couple weeks, the defense has also become terrible. And I don't know. I literally think it was getting rid of their offensive coordinator. I think it's now that their entire coaching tree is just yes men for the head coach. They're just his guys. It's bad. This is they were 10-1. They were 10-1 and now they're a wild card team. This Eagles team was 10-1. Sirianni is overrated. There was a sequence, there was a drive. Here's an Eagles fan. It was 1st and 20. They ran a QB draw. 2nd and 16. They ran a second consecutive QB draw which lost 4 yards. And then at 3rd and 20, they passed the ball. Nick Sirianni I don't trust his offensive play calling. The Eagles have regressed from last year, and I've been saying this all season long. They were 10-1, they are 11-5. They should have ran away with this division. They are second in this division, and they are a wild card team. Right now, they are predicted to play the Buccaneers in the playoffs. I am not convinced they can beat the Buccaneers. Anyways, Kyler Murray, 25 for 31, 232 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. Jalen Hurts, 18 for 32, 167 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. And that interception was a 99-yard pick 6. Excuse me, I'm gonna get a drink of water. What makes this Eagles loss even worse is that this is very likely Jason Kelce's final home game. And in his final ever Philadelphia Eagles home game, he lost to the 3-12 Arizona Cardinals. Anyway, enough about that. Saints versus Buccaneers. I predicted the Buccaneers here. My pen has decided to stop writing. I have to get a pencil. I predicted the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers lost. The Saints, both teams now 8-8. One team in second. One team in first. Final score 23-13 in favor of the Saints. Tampa Bay were favorites in this game. Derek Carr goes 24 for 32, 197 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Baker Mayfield 22 for 33, 309 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Panthers, Jaguars. I was pretty confident the Jaguars would win this game. And they did, but I did not expect it to be this bad. It's 26-0. They shut out the Panthers. Bryce Young goes 19 for 32, 112 yards, 0 touchdowns, 1 interception. You have CJ Beathard in at QB for the Jags. He goes 17 for 24, 178 yards, 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, and not a single passing touchdown for the Jaguars here. Yeah, because Lawrence did get hurt, right? Yeah, he did, but they said that he's going to play. He misses his very first ever career start with a sprained throwing shoulder, but they're confident he'll play next week, which they will need him to because next week is do or die, basically. Falcons, Bears. I predicted the Falcons, but I said I could see the Bears winning this game, and they did end up winning it 37-17. And the Bears. Yeah, I think it's because wait, hold on. Did they got the top pick, right? They did get the top pick, yeah, but I think it's because of, even though they won, because some other team lost. I think that's the Panthers pick, right? Yeah, it's the Panthers pick, so the Bears have the first overall pick. They have it in back-to-back drafts now. And like I said last week, if you're them, me personally, I'm taking Caleb Williams. But we'll see what the Bears do. As the Bears were winning this game, the fans were chanting, "We want Fields," alluding to the fact that they know that Caleb Williams is an option here. But mock drafts still have Caleb Williams going first overall to the Bears. we'll see what happens there. But anyway, this game, Taylor Heineke goes 10 for 29, 163 yards, a touchdown, 3 interceptions, which is crazy. Fields 20 for 32, 268 yards, 1 passing touchdown, and just 1 rushing touchdown, and 0 interceptions. Like I said, me personally, I'm still drafting a QB. I just don't trust Fields, even though he's had a good run of form lately. Raiders, Colts, I did pick the Raiders. The Colts end up getting it done. They're 23-20 in their favor. It was a good game. Even by AOC, he impressed me a bit. He got, 2 touchdowns, almost 300 yards, but just slightly not good enough. They start to come back there at the very end a little bit, but just too little, too late. 23-20. Indianapolis' favor. I say Indiana, it's Indianapolis. And they were actually a 3.5-point favorite, so I wonder how many people did take the under on this game. Aiden O'Connell goes 30 for 47, 299 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Minshew, 15 for 23, 224 yards, a touchdown, no picks. I chose not to watch this game because I thought if I was watching it, the worst would happen. And they would end up losing. But they end up losing anyway. And it was bad. I didn't watch this. I saw some highlights, lowlights rather. The Seahawks defenders were just like, there's one play where I saw a Steelers player rushing into the end zone, and I think it was Quandre Diggs and one other dude were just staring at him like they didn't even, the defense they had so many missed tackles in this game. I feel like it was a record for missed tackles by a defense. Like, it was so bad. And the game was still close, which is so unfortunate. Like, I've been so against Geno Smith. He had a good game this week, and the defense is what let him down, which is really unfortunate. So as you can see, Seattle was 4.5-point favorites. They had their own destiny to get into the playoffs, and now for Seattle to get into the playoffs, like, I think the Packers need to lose, and the Rams need to lose, and it's just getting so difficult. So let's see for the clinching situations. Okay. Tell me how. I need to get to Seattle. Okay, Seattle Seahawks. We're playing the Cardinals, which the Cardinals just beat the Eagles, so Seattle clinches the playoffs if Seattle wins and Green Bay loses. Okay, so that's basically the only way. We need to win. Green Bay needs to lose. I think Green Bay is playing the Bears. Or Seattle tie plus Green Bay loss plus Tampa Bay loss or tie. That's not going to happen. Or Seattle tie plus Green Bay loss plus New Orleans loss or tie. That one's not going to happen. We need Green Bay to lose. And we need to win. And I'm not confident that they can if the defense can be playing like this. It's so bad. Especially because we lost to Mason Rudolph. We let Mason Rudolph throw for almost 300 yards. Rudolph goes 18 for 24, 274 yards, 0 touchdowns, 0 picks. Geno, 23 for 33, 290, a touchdown, no picks. Chargers, Broncos, big drama. The Broncos are benching and eventually cutting Russell Wilson. I mean, as a Seahawks fan, I'm ecstatic because it's very funny that things have gone this way after this trade. Because I remember after this trade happened, social media was so toxic. Like, Broncos fans were like basically already planning the parade. There was so much trash talking, trashing the Seahawks, saying all this stuff like, Russell. I remember that offseason people were saying like the Broncos were Super Bowl favorites, and then week 1 they lost in Seattle to Geno, and like people were kind of shocked. Like that year, people were overhyping the Broncos so bad they crashed and burned. They bring in Sean Payton, kind of looks a little bit better, but now it's another crash and burn. And then 2 years into this huge extension that Russell Wilson signed, and they're going to be cutting him. And it's like, where's he going to go now? I could see him going to Minnesota, actually. That could be a good spot for Russell if Kirk Cousins decides not to go back there. But I just don't know. But anyway, I predicted the Broncos to win this. I made that prediction before I heard the news about Russell Wilson. Jared Stidham steps in, still gets the job done. This Chargers team is... They had a big offseason, I'm just going to say that. Easton Stick, 16-9 in favor of the Broncos. By the way, Easton Stick for the Chargers, 24 for 38. Turn 20 yards, no touchdowns, no picks. Stidham for the Broncos, 20 for 32. Turn 24 yards, a touchdown. 0 picks. Bengals, Chiefs. I predicted the Chiefs here, with Browning in. I just wasn't confident, and they do get the win, although it's not great. And if they play the Bills week 1, even though I do have some question marks about the Bills, I have bigger question marks about the Chiefs right now. They need to have a big offseason. They need to bring in a top receiving talent, because if not, this dynasty might already be over with only 2 Super Bowls. Like, that's not a dynasty, you need at least 3. There's another one. The line is so crazy. Chiefs win by 7. Or excuse me, the Chiefs win by 8. The line was 7.5. That's great. The Vegas odds makers they're so smart. 25-17 favor of the Chiefs. Browning goes 19 for 33, 197 yards, a touchdown, no picks. Mahomes 21 for 29, 245 yards, a touchdown, no picks. And finally, Packers-Vikings. I predicted the Vikings here. Oh no, I predicted the Packers here. I predicted the Packers. But I wanted the Vikings to win. Yeah, I think I need the Vikings to win in order to help Seattle's playoff chances. And they didn't, so I think that what we needed was the Vikings to win this week and then lose next week to the Lions. And now we need the Packers to lose to the Bears. Yeah, either way. But this game, I have some notes, so I said after the Seahawks embarrassed themselves, I think we need the Vikings to win here, and we did, I think. But their 4th string QB is in, so it's not going to be easy. So Kirk Cousins out. Then they brought in Dobbs. He got benched. They brought in Mullins. He played a game. He got benched. And then they had Hall. Packers start the ball. Can't get anything going with it. They punt. 3 and out for the Vikings as well. Packers get a good drive going. Love takes a shot to the end zone on 3rd down. No good. Packers settle for a field goal. Opening play the next drive for the Vikings, and it's an interception. And then I said, why are they sitting Mullins again? And then Love throws a beautiful behind-the-shoulder pass to Reed. It's a 10-0 lead for Green Bay, and right then I was like, man, I had a drink. And the middle of the field is just wide open on that throw. Vikings drawn encroachment cuts the field to 5 yards for a down, and they still can't convert. They had 4 attempts to get 5 yards, and they couldn't do it with Hall in at QB. Brutal. Was it Hall or was it Hill? I think Hall. Not gonna matter. We're never gonna see the dude play again. Minnesota home ground at that point starts booing the Vikings after they can't convert that 5-yard down. And I said it, I feel like the Vikings have to go back to Dobbs or at least Mullins. They're both just sitting there on the sideline. Packers go for it on 4th and 1, passes just a touch short, turnover. Huge sack on Hall on 2nd down, sets up 3rd and 16. Vikings knock through a 54-yard field goal for their first points of the game, but then Packers bully their way down to the goal line. Jordan Love keeps the ball, extends for the touchdown. The extra point puts the Packers up 14. Another decent drive for the Vikings, loses all momentum after a sack on Hall, and then Hall throws one of the worst pass attempts I've ever seen. 4th and 16, Vikings have to punt. Huge stop from the Minnesota defense. And then on the next drive, Hall fumbles, and the Packers recover. And I was like, why is this dude still on the field? And of course, the Packers rub the Vikings' nose in it. They tack on another touchdown just before half. Second half starts, and Mullins is finally put into the game, but it's too little, too late, in my opinion. Big sack on him sets up 2 and 28. But then 2 great passes gets Minnesota into first down, and I was like, he should have been playing. Vikings go for it on 4th down. Mullins is pressured, gets the ball into the end zone, no good. Packers pick apart the Vikings defense, get down the end zone, touchdown, Melton wide open. And then you have Mullins for Munt. The Vikings finally get their first touchdown of the game at the start of the 4th quarter. But a field goal for the Packers puts a bow on that one, and they do win, which did help my predictions. But man, oh man, did I want them to lose this game so badly. For the Seahawks playoffs, kind of a mixed bag this week. We had 16 games, and I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of them correct. So, calculator. 9 divided by 16. 56%. I don't think that's going to help my rating, and all I need to be above 60%. So we get to 152 out of 256. And let's see, 152 divided by 256 is 59%. I dropped down a percent, so I think I'm gonna have to be bang on. I think I have to get at least 11 or 12 next week to get me up to 60%, to be back above 50% from the season. But yeah, that is week 17. We have one more week of the regular season. When I do my prediction video tomorrow, I'm going to go over all the clinching scenarios, who needs to win what to get where in the playoffs. So expect a longer prediction video tomorrow than usual, but thank you guys so much for watching this and every NFL review and prediction video this season. This is the first NFL review video of 2024, so I hope you guys had a great new year. Great year last year, a great new year. I look forward to seeing you guys as we get into this last week of the regular season and into the playoffs. So if you liked the video, please leave a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more content just like this almost every single day.